You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Kademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. And today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Art, the new owner of Prairie Jewelers. So Art, how are you doing today?
Good, doing good.
I'm excited to be here. Well, I should say more importantly, my wife is excited that I'm here. Yes. So tell us, you bought Prairie Jewelers recently.
Yeah.
How recently are we talking?
2 years ago I bought it.
2 years ago. Okay, so fair. You've been around a little bit.
Yeah.
So did you own a jewelry store before?
No, I've never owned a jewelry store. I've been in the jewelry business though for 33 years.
All right, well that's a while. That's a while. So
Yeah.
you know your fancy rocks.
Yeah.
So what made you buy this? Did it just come across your plate? Did somebody reach out to you? Did you knock on the door and say, hey, I got a bag of money?
Pretty much all three of those things.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
Yeah. So take you back into the March, right at the beginning of the pandemic.
So 2020.
2020.
Oh, perfect time. Yeah, everybody loved that time.
Everybody loved it. Yeah, see it in 2 weeks and we'll save the world.
Yeah, right.
So I was on my 2-week hiatus,
Yeah.
and I thought, I wonder what Mike's doing.
Mike?
So Mike Durant, the
Okay.
previous owner of the store.
All right.
And I came down and saw Mike and asked him, so how's it going? And he goes, you want to buy a jewelry store? And I said, so what are we talking about here? And so I knew he was serious because he had been talking about retiring for the last 4 years or so.
All right.
And so we got down to the nitty gritty of it all, and it felt right. My wife was positive.
All right.
She said, you're never going to get a shot like this. Go
Yeah.
for it.
All right.
And with the pandemic and COVID, it was kind of a crazy time, but it just felt right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So you knew Mike for a while before?
Not, well, a little bit. A little
Okay.
bit. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And were you looking to purchase a business necessarily, or?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I wasn't, but I think all people kind of have that sort of dream to be their own
Oh, yeah.
their own business owner and to take that leap.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of fear that goes along with it, of course, too.
Huge. Yeah. Yeah, it depends which one wins, right?
Right.
You just going to stay kind of hidden, or are you going to
Right.
go for it?
And so we talked a little bit more throughout the summer, and then I decided, I'm going to do it.
All right.
Yeah. Took about 5 months or so to pull the trigger on that.
You know, that's pretty short. I guess I've sold one of my businesses, and I've helped a few people sell their businesses. And I always, like in the back of my head, I'm just like, a week, right? We'll get a couple of attorneys, accountants go through the books. I mean, we could just bang this out, no problem.
Right.
But there's emotion, and I suppose anytime you involve attorneys, it takes longer.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
Because $250 an hour, they want it to.
Right.
So it's interesting, just the process. I guess it's not like going to pick up a cup of coffee or something like that. Like it's more,
Right.
there's more to it, a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, how to structure a business. You
Yeah.
know? I believe Mike was sole proprietor, and I have a LLC.
All right.
You know? So, how do you do it? And what's the right way to do it? And what do you name it? And do you change the name?
Sure.
Do you do that? Or do you do business as? Have a name and do business as.
All right.
That was all the thought process, too.
So a lot of times when people sell a business, the new owner wants them to stay on a little bit to show them how stuff was run and all that jazz. So how did you guys figure that out?
Oh, I'm blessed in that way.
All right.
Mike is my goldsmith still.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So he sold me the store, but with the intention of me keeping him on as being the goldsmith. So basically, Mike can come in and do his goldsmith work.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to stay till 5 or 6.
Right.
He can dip in here in the morning, get his work done, and leave. So he can write his own schedule.
Gotcha. So he's not chained to the store.
Right.
You get to be chained to the store.
I have to be chained to the store. But it's nice because his older customers that have come in and have gotten to know him over the last 40 years, they see a friendly face in Mike, and they know that that they're in good hands with me.
All right.
Yeah.
You touch on a good point, because I imagine, well, first, I don't know much about jewelry stores, but I imagine trust is a huge factor. Because you're essentially trusting the proprietor or the salesperson to tell you this is worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
To a person like me who's like, I
Yeah.
have no idea what that is worth.
Yeah, it's all about trust. If you don't have trust in this business, you don't have a business.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, are there any other employees besides yourself and Mike?
Nope, just me.
Just you. All
Just
right.
me.
So you're here all the time.
Yeah, essentially. I do have a note. Be back in 5 minutes.
All right.
If I have to run to the bank or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So since you bought the business and pandemic has subsided, has business gone up, plateaued? Is it down? I mean,
Yeah.
how is the jewelry business?
Interesting question. So our store did very flat numbers during, I guess, the last 2 years.
Okay.
Except for some peaks and valleys. This year, it's supposed to be down, but I have gotten so much traffic in the last 3 weeks.
All right.
So I think it's on the upswing for me at least.
Sure. Well,
And
that's
now I
good.
don't know why, but it has. Over the country, many jewelry stores have exceeded expectations in the last 2 years because
wow.
of all the influx of money and people weren't able to travel. And so they did a little retail therapy on the higher end
sure.
stuff.
Okay.
And so a lot of ladies, I think, were able to trade up on their engagement rings and such in those last 2 years.
Got it. All right.
Well, those guys are complaining now because those numbers aren't there.
Oh, okay. They thought that they could maintain.
They
it.
thought they could maintain, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you, in the store, I see a lot of stuff. I see necklaces, I see watches, rings. I mean, we got a whole plethora of stuff going on here.
Yeah.
When you purchase the business, I imagine you purchase inventory.
Yes.
And, I mean, Mike had the business for how long before?
Mike owned the business since '82, so 38 years.
That's a while.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when you buy a business or you buy a jewelry store, you have all the inventory. So I imagine you have to figure out how to buy that, right?
Well, I'm in a lucky spot where Mike's inventory and my inventory are combined in the
Okay.
store. And so so when I sell something, Mike gets paid and I get paid a little bit.
All right.
And we're just running it that way.
Oh, okay. So it's almost consignment.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to come up with some huge bag of money to buy all the jewelry in the store.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, this is just me not knowing about jewelry stores. How do normal jewelry stores do it typically? Do they have, is it like a car lot where they have a loan on jewelry, or are they just
You mean selling it or just in business?
just to have the inventory? Because I imagine there's
Oh,
a
right.
lot of volume. You got to have a lot of choices and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff because nobody knows what they want.
I believe most of them start very small and put all of their resources into buying inventory
Oh, just build up gradually.
and build up gradually.
Okay.
I've heard of others that get small business loans.
Okay.
Recently, some have gotten grants.
All right. Oh, wow.
Small
Okay.
grants to do that.
All right.
Depending on what segment of ownership you
Sure.
are. But generally, it's just very slow and building.
All right.
And if I don't have something, me personally, I can always memo something in.
All right.
Yeah.
So this is so fascinating because I guess I never really thought about jewelry stores. How many suppliers for jewelry are there? Is there just a few, or is there
Oh my gosh.
millions?
Well, I've worked at several different jewelry stores, and
Okay.
some of the stores that I've worked at, we've had, I think, 300 different vendors.
300.
300.
Oh, that's a lot to keep track of.
Right.
Oh,
Of course, you don't do a lot of business
Right.
but there's specific vendors that do just one thing really well, and
All right.
that's who you go to
All right.
if that's something you need done.
So for the clocks, the watches, are you buying directly from the manufacturer, or do they have distributors that you're going through?
From the manufacturer.
You are?
The
Okay.
vendor, yeah.
Oh, that is so interesting. It's fascinating how some industries work certain ways and others. I came from the printer and computer side, and you couldn't buy something from HP or IBM or Xerox. You had to go through one of 3 distributors
Okay.
that you had to pay to be able to buy something from them. like pay a membership fee.
Right. To get in the door.
To get in there, yeah.
Right.
And then Amazon came along, and you could buy stuff from Amazon cheaper than you could from your wholesaler.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Lesson.
Lesson.
Yeah, that's what triggered me to sell that business. Like, okay, I can't win. Got it. I'm out.
Right.
So it's interesting that you can buy stuff directly from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So I imagine that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and of course they vet you.
Sure,
know,
okay.
Make sure you're in that business.
All right.
In the business, and I mean some vendors are better than others. Of
All right.
course, some vendors hold you hostage to what you can sell their merchandise for. You
okay.
can't sell it lower than what they tell you to.
All right.
Or you'll lose that account.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now, when it comes to jewelry, I see, looking at rings here, do people know, like the run-of-the-mill customer, are they as ignorant as me? Or they're just like, oh, that's a ring? Or do they know exactly what they're looking for as far as brand or any of that?
So that's a real open-ended question.
Okay, well, it's more curiosity.
So if I bring it back to the most obvious question of if somebody's looking for an engagement ring, they come in here. They usually do a little bit of research.
Okay.
You know, what's a diamond? What am I supposed to look for?
All right.
How much am I supposed to pay?
Sure.
You know, what's the reasonable amount that I'm going to get myself into? And they do a lot of research.
Okay.
And then I have guys that just kind of stumble in, you know, and wide-eyed, not sure what they're looking for, and I,
It's this guy.
yeah, and you know, and my thing is going back to being trustworthy and honest and information that I give you is always going to be upfront.
All right.
I want to educate you as much as you want to be educated, but it goes back to if you're happy with a purchase and happy with a piece and what it looks like, that's all that really matters.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Are there, I don't know, fancier brands than others when it comes to jewelry? Because I guess to my eye, all jewelry looks fancy. So I don't know if there's like the Pinto of jewelry versus the Bugatti of jewelry or something like that.
Well, going back to the vendors, I'll just throw out like Rolex.
Sure.
Not everybody can get Rolex.
All right.
And then there's under that sort of same sort of cloud, I guess. You can't get certain bridal vendors you can't sell certain vendors unless you give them a $300,000 open-ended buy.
All right.
You know, you buy into them for 300 grand and then you can order from them.
Interesting.
So some of them bar you out, but some of them, the ones I deal with, they don't do that.
All right.
They don't do that. So when you say is some better than others, some are better than others, but anything you buy is going to be as good as you can afford or want to purchase.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
It does, yeah. I guess to a point. To me,
yeah.
So a ring, let's say as an example, because we're sitting right here, there's nothing mechanical about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like from a technology point of view, it's a rock and a chunk of metal. I guess from my point of view, right?
Right.
But I imagine there must be something different about them. I don't know.
Sure. So I mean, so with gold,
Yeah.
there's varying different carats of gold.
Okay. I don't even know what that means. I've heard carats before,
okay,
but
right.
Is it purity?
So purity.
Okay.
24 karat gold is 100% gold.
All right.
So it's going to be yellow all the time because it's gold out of the earth, 24 karat.
All right.
You've heard of 18 karat gold?
Yep.
18 karat
14,
gold.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
18 karat gold is 18 parts gold and 6 parts something else, the other alloys that they mix into it.
Oh, so somebody sometime long ago said we're splitting gold into 24 parts and that's our measurement.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So 14 karat gold is 14 parts
All
gold
right.
and 10 parts alloys.
Interesting.
And with those alloys, you can make white gold or yellow gold or rose gold.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So what makes one better than the other? Nothing's better, but it's more expensive if it has more gold content.
Sure. Okay.
Most people buy 14 karat gold nowadays.
Okay.
and in America is 14 karat white gold.
All right. And is the reason being because they like the color of the white or the durability, I imagine, because gold is pretty soft?
Not so much durability. Nobody buys it. Oh, that's durable.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
It's optics. What they like,
Oh.
marketing, their friends.
All right.
It's what they grew up to accustomed to.
Got it. All right.
Yeah. And so 14 karat gold with a round diamond is usually generally what engagement customers look for.
All right. So we got to talk about diamonds.
Okay.
Because that's, I guess you got a lot of them here in varying
Yeah.
sizes.
Yeah.
So are you, I guess, do people choose a cut and then a ring is custom made, or are they buying it off the shelf? Or
Right. It could be either way.
Okay.
It could be either way.
All right.
If we're lucky enough that I have the ring ready to go and I like it, I'll take it.
Right.
That's a blessing, right?
Nice.
That doesn't happen very often. Usually,
Oh, it does not?
Does not.
All right.
It's usually that a customer comes in and they have an idea of what they like.
All right.
Oftentimes built from a Pinterest page that their girlfriend has built up.
All right.
Honey, this is what I want.
All right.
And they say, do you have something like this?
Yeah.
And I may or may not. If I don't, I can build it. I can
All right.
find it. I can find it, and if I can't find it already made, I can custom make it.
All right. And do you do that here?
No.
Okay.
Well, some things I do here,
All right.
but some things I have a custom computer generated guy jeweler that makes the rings.
All right. Getting fancy.
Yeah.
All right.
He builds the waxes. I get the wax approved.
All right.
And then we go forth and have it cast and have the
nice.
diamond set. Yeah.
The whole centrifuge and all that kind of
Yep,
stuff. All right.
yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So tell me, the diamonds, I guess when you're getting diamonds, are you getting the rings as we see them here in the box and everything? Or?
These are actually, this is one of my major vendors that I use is Nalady.
Okay.
And these are all samples.
All right.
So I sell off of a sample idea. So when a customer likes a certain ring or a sample, we talk about how much the ring is without the center stone.
Okay.
We call that a semi mount.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
And then we talk about what kind of diamond you want set into the semi mount to make the engagement
all right.
ring. So, a center stone can be anywhere from $400, $500 up to $8,000, $20,000,
Sure. Whole
$50,000.
diamond, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want.
All right.
So, and then also with a ring system like this, I always call it Frankensteining.
All right.
If it isn't exact, then we can use 2 or 3 rings and combine those things and make a ring.
All right.
So if somebody likes, for example, now we're kind of getting technical, but
Sure. That's all right.
there's a thing called, with diamonds around the center stone, it's called a halo.
Okay.
So you could put a halo on a different ring shank.
All right.
There's different kinds of ring shanks.
Holy
you can
cow.
have you can have a split shank that opens up. You can have a thin band shank, and
All right.
and you can have a cushion halo or a round halo. So there's many things to think about
All right.
when you're making a ring.
Can get pretty elaborate.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And besides all that, you could set a sapphire
All right.
rather than a diamond into the
All
middle.
right.
That's
So you
popular
have stone
also.
choices, just
Stone
a plethora.
choices, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I imagine there's a skill set that you have for knowing how to talk to the customer
Yeah.
and kind of steer them towards figuring out what they want, as well as knowing what you can even offer. How do you gain that knowledge?
How do you get there?
Yeah.
Right.
Because I imagine you can't just pull somebody off the street and be like, "You're not my new employee."
Yeah. Yeah.
Sell stuff.
Yeah. I tend to try and read people pretty quickly and be gentle
All right.
because it's a very intimidating thing coming into a store.
Mhm.
So the last thing that you really want to talk about is money because it's the least romantic thing is money.
Right.
But sometimes that's the first thing that comes out of a guy's mouth because he wants me to know exactly
Sure.
how much.
Give me the number.
This is it. This is it.
All right.
But also, I want to be thoughtful for them. Money doesn't equate happiness.
Sure.
You know, and a lot of
Not
times
directly.
not directly, no. but oftentimes somebody will say, I was thinking up to 5,000. You know, but by the time we figure it all out, he's happy with a ring combination and diamonds that's 4,200.
All right.
I'm not going to tap somebody out
Sure.
just because I can.
All right.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. Put an $800 inscription in there.
Yeah. Right.
That's awesome. All right. So you've done this. You've been in the jewelry business for a long time.
Yeah. Since 33 years.
That's a while. All right.
Yeah.
So when did you first get in the jewelry business?
Right out of college.
Well, was it one of those like I want to be a jeweler, or is it one of those
that-
like, hey, this guy's got a job, I need a job, here we are?
Yeah, I needed a job.
All right.
So it's kind of a funny story because my wife was working in a florist inside of a mall.
Oh, okay.
And she was going to college, and I had just graduated.
All right.
And she was working in a florist right next to a jewelry store, and the manager comes next door and she says, Penny, do you need a full-time job? I need somebody at my jewelry store. And she says, no, but I know someone who does. And the next day I interviewed.
All right.
Yeah, no, well, 2 days later I interviewed, and and thus started my journey in jewelry.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. So I was a credit clerk, and then
All
I
right.
became a salesman, and then after being in sales, you know, your motivation, you want to become a manager.
Sure.
And
Climbing the ladder.
So I was climbing the ladder, and so I was in corporate jewelry, and then made my way into Madison. And
All right.
Yeah.
What is corporate jewelry?
Well, it's I worked for Fred Meyer Jewelers.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So just
Yeah, a bigger
chain
company.
stores or-
Chain stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to picture like a bunch of CEOs buying rings.
No, yeah. No.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So what was your training like when you got that first job?
Oh, just threw you right into it.
Oh, just have at her.
Yeah, have at it, and smile and talk.
All right.
You know, and the first jewelry store I worked for was a credit jeweler.
Okay.
And so basically, that was completely opposite of what I'm doing now.
All right.
Mostly, from that experience, I was basically trying to open accounts for some people to get them as much credit as they could, so that
Oh.
they were able to purchase as much jewelry as they could.
Okay, so they're essentially taking out loans?
Yeah.
On jewelry, okay.
Security agreements.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And you guys were running the financing right there? Did you run
Yeah.
it through a bank or
Yeah,
some
we
kind?
would run the financing.
Okay.
And we would sell the accounts eventually to Wells Fargo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is back in the 90s, out of the Bay Area.
What
Yeah.
could go wrong? All right.
Yeah, things can go wrong.
All right. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
So from like somebody comes in off the street and they're like, hey, I want credit to buy some jewelry. Are they expecting the jewelry to appreciate? Like they're treating it like an investment?
No, they just don't have the funds to buy it.
Gotcha. Okay. They
Yeah.
want something, they can't afford it, so they're going to get credit so that they
Right.
can afford it.
Right.
Got it.
But
Okay.
I moved on from that jewelry store 4 years after I
All right.
worked there. But it was good, solid experience.
Sure.
How to deal with people, how to deal
I
with
bet.
emotion,
All
how to
right.
deal with stress. For sure.
But I imagine 4 years at a job now is forever.
Yeah,
I guess
right.
compared to some of the resumes that I've seen.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and I imagine you said in the 80s or when?
That
long
was
ago
in
this?
90s.
90s. Okay,
Yeah.
so internet
Early
was not much of a thing.
Non-existent.
All right. So I imagine just doing credit checks and stuff like that, where you make a phone call, or how do you call Experian or whoever?
Yeah, no, we type it in and then we get the
Oh,
in the
nice.
paper, you know.
All right, the
you
dot
know.
matrix thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Rip it off and check it out, see how many ones people had. See
Oh,
if they had
funny.
any. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Bankruptcy, let's talk about this bankruptcy.
All right.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
All right. So let's go back to you buying this jewelry store.
Okay.
I mean, we're bouncing around a little
I
bit.
know.
That's what we do. It's all good.
Yeah.
All good. So you're in a strip mall in Sun Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that's got to be a different feel from the corporate jewelry stores.
Yeah. So okay. So taking us back before. So Fred Meyer brought me out to Madison,
Okay.
and then I worked in the malls for several years.
All right.
And then I became manager of Chalmers Jewelers.
Oh, wow, sure. Middleton there. Okay.
Yeah. And so, so going from the mall to Chalmers, I was thrust right into a huge independent jewelry store.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Yeah, very big, biggest in the county for sure.
Okay.
And managing all those sorts of jobs. You know, we had the salespeople, the jewelers, the office people, and that's where I learned a lot and how to do business in an independent environment. For sure.
Nice. Okay.
Learned a lot. So after years with Chalmers Jewelers, I moved to Goodman's Jewelers downtown on State Street.
Sure.
And so I was a sales manager at Goodman's Jewelers.
All right.
And so that's where I had my foothold of independent jewelry store, and learning that. And then I bought the store. So yeah, it's very different. Everywhere I've been is very different. From the mall setting to Chalmers to downtown Goodman's, being the very old established people. Everybody loves Goodman's Jewelers and the brothers and what they've done for the county.
Right.
And that's where you learn also how to be a good steward. Is when I worked at Goodman's, is seeing John Hayes, the owner of Goodman's, how he treats the community and his customers.
All right.
So here I am in a small, taking it back to Prairie Jewelers, in a small strip mall. I'm at a different level, a smaller level, but I'm still very community minded.
Yeah.
I love Sun Prairie community, but not just that. I have the surrounding community customers that come and see me all the time.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. I got my DeForest customers. I love those guys. One day I had 3 customers from Rio.
Oh, really?
From Rio come in and
oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They probably all knew each other, right? It was a pretty small town.
None of them knew each other. It was very
funny.
odd. Very
all right.
odd. But yeah, very different everywhere I've worked.
Interesting. All right. I imagine just the places that you named, just walk-in traffic is got to be different because State Street, you got people coming and going all the time.
Yeah.
Where I would think Chalmers is probably more of a destination.
Yeah.
Where it's located, if memory serves.
Yeah.
But in the mall, I mean, it's going to be a different game.
Oh, very much so. Yeah. I am a destination for sure. So if somebody walks through my door, I know that they're here with a purpose.
Sure.
And they're
not just killing time.
Not just killing time.
Wife is at the store or whatever. Okay.
Yeah. And so, but it's nice. It's my store is just me. So everything goes through me, relies on me, and I have just enough traffic to keep everyone happy.
All right.
And I have to say, my customers are very. They're great because they understand that if I'm with one person and somebody comes in, they understand that and they allow me to help them both. Sometimes I can juggle customers, and sometimes I can, they'll just wait patiently.
All right.
Yeah.
Patience.
Patient.
Hell.
I know. I know.
Is that a thing? That's interesting. Yeah. So you've owned the business for a couple of years now. Are there any regrets?
No.
No? Okay, well that's good.
No.
Is there anything that you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known that?
Wish I woulda. Yeah. Oh, I think I wish I woulda. There's a lot of not regrets, but sometimes when you buy certain inventory, that's my only regret, and that's a pathetic little regret. I mean,
you don't know until
you do it. Yeah. So certain pieces of inventory that I bought that are still here after 18 months, I'm like, why did I do that? That's liquidity that I could have went somewhere else.
Got it. All right.
That's a small regret, and that's a very easy learning curve. Yeah.
But I imagine with any retail store, you have inventory, and you probably don't order it and it shows up the next day. You're probably guessing or estimating what people are going to want a few weeks or months down the road based on trends and fads and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, the people that I know that own retail stores, some of them, they're looking out 6-9 months ahead because when they place their order for Christmas, they're placing it in March or April for the following, trying to figure out, like, what's going to be the Tickle Me Elmo in 9 months, right? Or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to figure out what the trend is going to be when you don't know.
Right. My store is not a trendy store.
Okay.
My store is a classics, solid, gift-giving store.
Okay.
And not the small, tiny little purchase that comes and goes.
Got it. Okay.
My customers, my solid customers are the ones that buy engagement rings, anniversary bands,
All right.
and maintain those relationships
Got it.
through very specific gift giving throughout the year.
All right. Fair.
Maintain the relationship.
It's more timeless. Yeah.
Yeah, more timeless. Than,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So from working at all these other places before you got to this place, I imagine you learned some things not to do with a jewelry store. So you saw like, oh, those are mistakes, or those are things that I can see they're operating that way. I don't want to. What are some of the things that you picked up on that you learned that you did not want to do?
Right. I don't want to get myself into an agreement with a vendor that forces me to purchase inventory that I don't want.
Okay.
So there are those vendors that say, well, yeah, I can ship you this bead, but you have to buy 3 of these other beads that nobody else wants. So that's a situation that I've seen happen. And unfortunately, the situations that happened under, nobody knew that was coming until it happened.
Okay.
And then you're just in trouble with
All right.
it. Yeah.
Got it.
So what else? I think it's mostly inventory. It's like getting yourself stuck with a bunch of inventory that you don't want. Because
All right.
what is that? That's an anchor.
Right.
Yeah. It's really a bad.
Yeah, it's just capital sitting there that's not necessarily appreciating or earning you anything.
Right. Yeah.
So I imagine just like any retail store, you bank on turnover.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if it's taking up space, not moving.
Yeah. And most things, not most things, but some things I can get in less than 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can get loose diamonds tomorrow.
All right.
So that's a beautiful thing about diamonds.
All right.
It's the ring itself that
Okay.
needs to be manufactured.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me, the diamond thing is always just so interesting to me.
I know, me too.
Like, right? So I just imagine, is there some warehouse, or I imagine maybe it's just like a room, because diamonds aren't that big, but
Right.
where all the diamonds are, and they just get distributed to all the jewelry stores, or how does that distribution work?
Yeah. So generally speaking, there's diamond vendors that are out of large cities.
Okay.
New York, Chicago, Los Angeles.
Okay.
And these large companies, they'll focus usually on 3 different kinds of diamonds.
Oh, okay.
Some are more expensive, well-cut diamonds that cost more.
Okay.
Some are the bulk of everything. We have a little bit of everything. And then some are more specialty cuts or high-value color diamonds, say, like a canary yellow diamond.
All right.
Some are very specific that way.
Okay.
So you're right. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of room to have a whole bunch of diamonds.
Right.
But their business model is to take the call, give you the price, ask you if you want it, and get it in a FedEx box as soon as possible out the door and to you.
All right.
And so, and again, that's trust.
Yeah.
Have I gone through diamond vendors that, yeah, this is what I have and this is what I send you, and it's a disappointment?
Piece of glass or something.
Not glass, but,
Maybe not that
but it's
bad.
just not graded. It's just
Sure.
not as nice a diamond as was explained to me.
All right.
Or such. And those ones you tend to not order from anymore.
All right.
You stick with the ones that you trust, that deliver and give you what is expected.
All right.
Yeah.
And how do you learn what to look for in a diamond? Because, I mean, you see the little glasses and those things are so small.
Yeah, just experience. But, I mean, diamonds are graded off of a few different things.
Sure.
The 4 C's.
Right?
You got
cut, clarity. Oh, my goodness gracious. I should know this. My wife is like, oh, my God, damn, sorry.
cut, clarity, color,
Color.
and carat weight.
Oh, okay.
how heavy it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So it's all graded on these 4 different things, and that's
All right.
a whole other story. But so basically, the Gemological Institute of America came up with these guidelines, and as jewelers, we try and stick by those sort of grading systems.
All right.
And you said, how do you know? It's just from experience. It's under a microscope. You're looking at it. And
All right.
how many inclusions give you clarity, and the
Okay.
location, and the size, and the color, and all these different things. And it's no way to really explain to a person until you just dive
Sure.
into it. Yeah.
So are they, a lot of those, I think of something like color, that seems to be almost a subjective judgment, right? Or is there some kind of laser that they shoot at it and they're like, this is a
Right.
whatever color,
Yeah.
science says it's this?
Yeah, color is actually lack of color.
Oh, okay.
So diamonds are graded upside down against master stones.
Okay.
So there's stones that gemologists have set up with okay. So color starts at D, and then
Okay.
it goes down the alphabet.
All right.
D, E, F
Okay.
is colorless.
All right.
G, H, I, J is near colorless.
All right.
And then LM on down is just warmer and warmer and warmer as it goes. So
Got it.
so if you compare a diamond that you don't know the color on to a master set
Oh.
of color stones, you can match it up. You can go, okay, it's a G, H, it's I. It matches up to the I and the color.
All right.
And so that's the way they can grade it. Because
Okay.
your eye, there's no way your eye can distinguish an E to a G if I went, okay, what's that? And you're looking at it. There's
Sure.
no way you're going to go,
All
oh, that's a
right.
G, and then that. But if you held them together, you'd go, that E looks
All right.
whiter than the G.
Okay. I imagine even just different light. You're outside,
100%.
fluorescent light. Or...
100%.
All right.
Yeah, that's
Interesting.
what makes diamonds so. Well, you said subjective, but they're graded objectively.
All right. That's okay.
But people's tastes and their eyes, they like one thing or the other.
All right.
Oftentimes.
So the market may say, I
Oh.
like the look of an H.
Yeah.
So Art, you mentioned lab diamonds.
Yeah.
Is that what they call them?
Lab created diamonds.
Lab created diamonds.
Lab grown diamonds.
Lab grown.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about those?
Sure. So this is an example of my small lab-grown collection, and I see that I've sold quite a few here that need to be replaced.
That's good.
Yeah, yeah. So lab-grown diamonds are, I'll just kind of show you. They are diamonds that are grown in a lab.
All right.
Basically, instead of them
Mined.
being mined out of the ground, delivered to the surface of the earth by a volcano, like natural diamonds are,
All right.
they're delivered in a basically not an oven or anything like that, but they're grown, lab grown.
All right.
And with a lab grown diamond, you can get a whole lot of diamond for a lot less money.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's a very affordable way to have a diamond, but and a good diamond, but not pay the natural diamond
Sure.
prices.
Is there any downside?
The downside is most likely the only downside is the reason you buy jewelry at all is
All right.
the tradition, the folklore, the romance of having a diamond. Some might argue that's the reason you should buy a lab grown. So there's a lot of emotions involved in terms of buying a natural diamond over lab diamond.
Okay. Sure.
So I have folks who buy natural diamonds for their engagement ring, but they're very happy with a pair of lab-grown diamond stud earrings that
All right.
sparkle
Yeah.
and give off all sorts of brilliance and scintillation for more than half are less than half the price of natural.
Oh, so it's a pretty substantial difference.
Very substantial.
All right.
Yeah.
And like to me, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, can people
Right.
can people tell like, oh, that's a lab grown diamond?
No, you have to be very trained
All right.
to even have an idea that they're lab grown or over natural.
All right.
Yeah. There's a danger in that too because, you know,
You buy something that you're told is real.
right. Is it lab grown? Well, the beauty of all of my lab grown diamonds is they all have a lab grown cert number engraved on their girdle on
Oh,
the
wow.
side of the diamond.
All right.
You can't see it with your eye, but I can see it under a microscope.
Okay.
So that keeps everybody aware of what's lab grown and what's not.
All right.
Yeah.
With the idea being that you couldn't then sell it as a real one, and somebody says, "Hey,
Exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Yeah. So some people they want lab grown diamonds throughout their engagement ring also.
all right,
So it's all up to the customer. So these rings are actually all very small lab grown diamonds
Yeah.
that I can have a lab grown loose
look at
diamond
that.
set into it.
all right,
So the nice thing is I can give you what you want.
Yeah.
You know, at the price you want, at the value that you want.
right,
Yeah. There's a lot of in jewelry. There's so much communication
all right,
because. You know, we were talking about the guy who walks in and doesn't know what's going on. I have to make sure that I give him enough information that he can make an informed decision.
right,
But of course, you know, I can't have a 5-hour
Right.
lecture over
Here's
the
jewelry
history of
101.
everything.
Yeah.
So you know, we kind of rally and talk about different things and kind of get to the end.
All right.
And I make sure people are happy along the way. You know, stop, take a breath, enjoy the process.
right,
Yeah.
fair,
Yeah.
fair, should be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
So, lab grown diamonds, when they were, like, how long have these been around?
Sure. Well, they've been around since the 70s.
Have they really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
General Electric, well, probably the 60s, but the 70s, General Electric started making them. The thing was, they weren't gem quality, except
Okay.
for a few of them,
Okay,
because they were very yellow. Nitrogen makes diamonds yellow, and they couldn't keep the nitrogen out of
interesting.
the process.
Okay.
But in all essential purposes, lab-grown diamonds have been around for about 6 or 7 years, but most recently, in the last 2 or 3 years, have been very available.
it's been that recent.
Yeah,
All
pretty
right.
recent. So it's kind of a shock to the system, to the jewelry industry.
Right.
Yeah.
So has that come around because where natural diamonds come from is not necessarily the greatest, or?
I think it's opportunity,
Okay,
and also what is it? The availability of the machines to grow the diamonds
All right.
have been mass produced, thus producing more
Oh.
lab diamonds,
Okay.
giving them more availability.
gotcha. So supply has gone up.
Supply's gone up
All right.
because of supply.
Sure, all right.
Yeah, demand's gone up because of supply.
Sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess prediction-wise, do you speculate that that'll become more the norm, and the natural diamonds will become more of a fancier thing, and their value will go up? Or
I'm only speculating.
sure. I mean, I won't hold you to it because I don't know either way.
I had to imagine that they will be very popular because they're more accepted.
All right.
Yeah, that's okay. You got what you wanted. But to a certain group of people, they will definitely never be considered.
All right.
So overall in our industry, I think we will sell a lot of lab-grown diamonds.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, I guess, what happens. Just
That's a conundrum. I mean, there's going to be there's a whole lot of jewelry stores though that will never sell lab diamonds.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Like they
yeah.
won't. Oh, that's
that's not for us.
all right.
Yeah, well, I don't have that luxury. I sell what people want.
Fair.
I'm
Fair.
not that way, you know.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess we talked a lot about diamonds, rings, gold. Tell us about just some of the other things that you have here, because it looks like you have a
Sure.
medley.
Well, yeah. Well, at my store at Prairie Jewelers, we do watch batteries. You know,
All right.
simple things like watch batteries and jewelry repair. I have a jeweler on site.
Nice.
Mike, the
All right,
owner,
yep.
he's still here. Does jewelry repairs on site. Also, I have some silver jewelry for gifts, lower price point.
All right.
I've got gold jewelry, earrings, color stones, pendants.
All right.
I've got little crosses. I've got a selection of a lot of different things.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Imagine if you don't see it here, you can probably figure out how to get it.
Yeah. Many, going back to the vendor, many
Right.
resources that sometimes I can get things in the store in less than a week.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So is there anything, I guess, that you would think if someone was considering opening up a jewelry store? Not in Sun Prairie.
Yeah.
But
We haven't.
considering opening up a jewelry store that you think, hey, you should know this, or maybe this is something the best kept secret of the industry that potential entrepreneur of a jewelry store should know?
I would say customer service. I mean,
right.
it sounds so cliche.
Well, it's
But
gone. You could
I'll
argue
tell
pretty
you-
strongly customer service has gone down over the past few years.
Yeah.
I guess from my experience, not necessarily everywhere, but in a lot of places.
Mine too. Mine too.
If you see a kiosk instead of a person,
Yeah.
it probably wasn't like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, customer service and being communication in the jewelry business is so important. Don't thrust your opinions on someone.
All right.
Let them expose what they want and why they want it.
All right.
And if it's an absolute ridiculous situation,
Sure.
then tell them why that's not a good idea.
All right.
But I don't think there's any secrets except being honest and trustworthy and
All right.
follow through.
Fair. Well, that's huge
Follow
for any
through.
business, right?
Yeah.
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 Name of the game.
Yeah.
I love it.
Under promise, over deliver.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
That's the game. Yeah.
So you've had this business for a couple of years. Where do you see it going in the next, let's say, 3 to 5?
Yeah. I see myself as the go-to in this regional area of the place you want to buy your engagement ring.
All right.
That's all I ask. Is that
Nice.
if you're looking for an engagement ring or an anniversary band,
Yeah.
that you make an appearance, walk through my door, give me a shot.
All right.
That's all I ask.
That seems simple enough.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. People seem to be getting married all the time. So.
Right. Engaged all the time. There's
All right.
always love in the air.
Yeah. Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
funny. Where can people find you, just for address and website?
Sure. sunprairiejewelers.com.
All right. Easy enough.
Easy. Yes, sunprairiejewelers.com. And we're located at 976 West Main Street here in Sun Prairie. I often say right near Chang Jiang Restaurant, or if you don't know where Chang Jiang Restaurant is, right by St. Vinny's.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been here for 40 years, and we have plenty of parking.
40 years.
I know.
40 years doing anything is a long time. So
That's right.
that's super cool. Well, I appreciate you being on the show, Art.
Thank you.
This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggles, stories, and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur in all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Art Fish, the owner, newish, of Prairie Jewelers. And Art, can you tell us that website one more time?
sunprairiejewelers.com.
sunprairiejewelers.com.
Also on Facebook,
Oh, thank you.
a
Can't
little bit
forget that, right?
Instagram, all that good stuff.
Sure, all right. Oh, it's endless. Endless. Speaking of which, if you could do us a huge favor when you watch or listen to this, if you could give us a big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with your entrepreneurial friends, as well as the people that like jewelry, because, you know, it can't hurt, right?
No.
It can't hurt. Thank you for watching. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.